The war started without warning. No one on the human ship expected it. One moment, they were mapping the outer forest zone on the alien moon. The next, they were under attack. Sharp screams echoed from the trees, and the shadows moved like monsters. In the dark, Lance was a scout, trained to survive alone. But even he wasn't ready for what came. His squad was scattered. He ran through thick vines and soft dirt, dodging spears made from strange black bone. He didn't know the enemy, but he knew they were fast and strong. And hunting, he dropped into a ditch to catch his breath. Mud covered his boots. His chest hurt from running, then movement. Someone landed softly across from him, not a soldier, not a human. A female figure, tall and wrapped in black fur. Her glowing eyes locked onto him, her tail flicking once behind her. She growled, but it wasn't angry. It was curious. He raised his hand slowly. "I'm not here to hurt you." The girl tilted her head. Her face was beautiful, almost human, but her skin was smooth and gray. Her sharp ears twitched. She moved closer, sniffing the air like a predator. A clawed hand reached toward his shoulder. Then she spoke. "You're slow," she said simply. "I didn't sleep last night." Lance muttered, unsure why he was joking. "Who are you?" "I'm Vena. This is my land." "I figured," Lance said. "You're good at sneaking up on people." "You are weak," she said. "But you smell strong." Lance frowned. "I'm not going to fight you." "You will," she whispered. "It's the law." Before he could ask what that meant, she lunged. He rolled back, dodging her claws. She didn't try to kill him. She wanted something else. A test. A trial. Her moves were quick, wild, but her strikes were soft, just enough to bruise, not break. He blocked one swipe and tripped her gently. She landed with a growl and looked up at him. He stood over her, chest heaving. He could have pinned her. Could have ended it, but he stepped back. "I'm not your enemy." She stared at him for a long time. Then, slowly, she rose to her feet. "You let me win." "No," he said. "You didn't need my help to win. You're already stronger than me." That made her blink. Then something changed in her face. The wild edge faded. Her breath slowed. She stepped closer, her fur brushing against his arm. "No one has ever let me win before," she said quietly. Lance shrugged. "Maybe it's time someone did." She looked down at his hand, then grabbed it tightly. "You belong to me now." "What?" "That is the law," she said again. "You didn't fight back. You gave me the win. Now I must keep you safe." Lance raised an eyebrow. "That's not usually how wars work." "My people are not like yours," she replied. "If you fight, we respect you. If you surrender with honor, we keep you." That single quote's terrifying. She didn't smile, but her tail curled around his boot. "I will protect you. Tonight you sleep beside me, or not at all." Before he could answer, more shadows moved in the trees. Others like her, less graceful, more armored, stepped forward. Vena hissed at them. "He is mine." She roared. The others stopped. She turned to Lance again. "You stay close, or I will hunt you myself." He didn't argue. He followed her through the jungle ruins, where alien lights glowed under moss and vines. They entered an old stone hall, half broken by time. She pulled him to a soft fur-covered spot near a fire pit. He sat, unsure what to say. She watched him the whole time. When the fire was lit and the room quiet, she didn't speak. She just curled beside him and kept staring, not with anger, not with desire, with something else. As the flames danced, Lance lay back, feeling her breath near his neck. She didn't sleep. Not yet, but she stayed close, her hand resting lightly on his chest. He had no idea what tomorrow would bring, but tonight, she wouldn't let him out of her sight. Lance woke up before the sun touched the sky. The stone floor was cold under his back, but the warmth beside him was steady. Vena had not moved much during the night. She had slept curled close, one arm resting gently across his chest, her tail wrapped around his leg like a blanket made of fur and muscle. Her breathing was calm now, slow and deep. Lance turned his head to look at her. In sleep, she seemed different, softer. Her ears twitched from small sounds, and her face, always alert and wild before, was now peaceful. She looked younger, almost innocent. He slowly moved her arm and sat up. She opened one eye. You tried to leave. I just wanted to stretch. Her eye closed again. Lie down. You sleep like a cat, he muttered. I hear that's a good thing, she whispered, then slowly pushed herself up. You stayed. That matters. Lance stood. Where are we going now? She didn't answer. Right away. She stood too, shook her fur, and looked toward the broken archway that led into the forest. The light was getting brighter. The sounds of birds or something like birds echoed outside. My people will not accept you, she said softly. They will test you again. I'm not here to join your tribe, he replied. You already have. I didn't agree to that. You did when you let me win, she said. Now you must survive. He sighed. This culture of yours is very intense. She looked at him, serious now. You don't understand. In my clan, the strong protect the weak. But if the weak show wisdom or mercy, the strong must stay close to learn from them. That's why I watch you. He crossed his arms. You think I'm weak? I think you're different. A sound interrupted them. Footsteps. Heavy. Slow. Vena turned fast, dropping low, ready to pounce. Lance stayed back, unsure what they were dealing with. A large beastman stepped into the hall. He wore pieces of armor made from metal and animal hide. His face was half covered in war paint, and his eyes burned red. He looked at Vena, then at Lance. Challenge, the beastman said, pointing at the human. No, Vena said firmly. He is under my protection. He must stand, alone. Lance stepped forward, heart beating hard. I'm not fighting anyone. You must, the beastman growled. No weapons, only truth. Lance looked at Vena. What does that mean? She looked troubled. It means he will try to break you without killing you. If you survive, they'll stop chasing us. And if I don't, I will fight for you. The beastman didn't wait. He stepped forward and shoved Lance to the ground. Lance rolled, barely dodging a foot that came down like a hammer. Enough! Vena shouted. Lance stood quickly, raised his hands. I don't want to fight, the beastman grunted. Then, fall. He rushed forward again. Lance didn't run. He sidestepped and ducked. He used what training he had not to strike, but to avoid. He stayed on his feet, took hits, but never returned them. After minutes that felt like hours, he stood there, bruised, bleeding from the lip, but still standing. The beastman growled, then slowly bowed his head. Truth, he said. Then he left. Vena came to him, touching his face, her eyes wide. You did it, Lance laughed softly. What did I do? You showed restraint. That's not weakness here. That's rare strength. He sat back down, exhausted. What happens now? You rest, she said. Tonight I will bring you food. You don't move until I return. He looked up at her. Why are you doing all this? She paused. Because when I sleep, I feel safer when you're near. She left then, fast and silent. Lance sat there alone in the empty hall. His muscles ached. His head was spinning. He still didn't understand their rules, their ways, or why she stayed so close to him. But something was changing, and it wasn't just her. The sun had gone down by the time Vena returned. She moved like a shadow, silent, smooth, fast. In her hands, she carried food wrapped in thick leaves. The scent was warm and strange, roasted meat, berries, and something sweet. She knelt beside Lance, placing the bundle between them. "I hunted this," she said softly. "For you." Lance sat up from the fur mat he'd been resting on. "Thanks. Smells better than rations." She watched him eat. He noticed she didn't touch anything herself. "Aren't you hungry?" "I ate before I came back." He nodded slowly, chewing carefully. "That guy who attacked me earlier. He said I had to prove something." "You did," she said. "You stood without rage. You didn't strike back. You survived." Lance set down the food. "And now I belong to you?" Vena tilted her head. "Belong is a strange word. You are not a weapon. You are something I want beside me. That's different." He leaned back against the wall. "You talk like this." "Is normal, it is, for us. If I let you go, the others might test you again, or try to take you. They think humans are weak. But they are also curious why I keep you close." He looked at her closely now. Her face, though calm, held something behind it like she was trying to hide a storm. "Why did you let me live, Vena?" She looked away. "I saw something I didn't understand. You showed kindness during war. I didn't know that was possible." She sat down next to him, close enough that their shoulders touched. Her fur was soft against his skin. She didn't speak for a while. Neither did he. The fire burned low. Shadows danced on the stone walls. Then she whispered, "When I was young, I lost my bondmate in battle. He fought too hard. Too proud. He never stepped back, never showed mercy. And he died for it." Lance turned his head. "You think I'm the opposite of that? You fight by staying calm," she said. "You listen before you act. That's rare among my people." She laid her head on his shoulder. "That's why I sleep near you. You make the night feel quiet." He didn't move. "I don't know what I'm doing here, Vena. I'm not a hero. I'm just a scout. I got lost in the wrong forest." She smiled for the first time. "Then maybe this forest found you." A sound echoed outside like stones cracking. Both of them stood at once. Vena stepped in front of him, claws ready. Her tail stiffened. Two female warriors appeared in the doorway. Both wore fur and bone armor. Their faces were marked with red paint. One of them spoke fast in a language Lance didn't know. Vena responded sharply. Then silence. She turned to Lance. "They say you are mine, but you have not accepted the bond." Lance blinked. "What bond?" "They want you to speak it. To say it aloud." He looked at the two watching him, then back at Vena. "What happens if I say no?" "They will take you," she said without emotion. "To test you again. Every night, until you break. And if I say yes?" Vena met his eyes. "You stay by my side. No more fights. No more tests. I protect you, always." He didn't know what to think. His heart beat faster. She wasn't lying. He could see it in her face. She didn't beg. She didn't plead. She offered truth. He looked at the warriors. Then at her. "I accept the bond," he said quietly. The two females nodded, then vanished into the dark. Vena let out a long breath. "Now they'll leave us alone." Lance sat back down, confused and tired. What does this mean now? Vena lay beside him again, this time without hesitation. Her head rested on his chest. "It means you're not going anywhere. And I will. Never sleep again unless you're near." He stared at the fire, unable to sleep himself. He was far from home, trapped in a strange culture, bonded to a wild alien woman. But strangely, for the first time since the war began, he didn't feel alone. Days passed. Lance didn't know how many. Time moved differently in this jungle. The sun rose late and set early, and strange stars blinked above the broken sky. But every night, Vena slept beside him. And every morning, she was already awake watching over him with calm eyes, as if making sure he was still there. The bond had changed everything. He was no longer treated as an outsider. The others stopped testing him. Some even brought him gifts, roots, dried meat, small carved figures made of stone. They watched him with curiosity, but no longer with challenge. Still, he wasn't one of them. He had questions. So many questions. 1. Afternoon, while sitting beside a quiet stream with Vena, he finally asked, "What is this bond really? I mean, to you? Is it just about protection?" She dipped her fingers in the water, watching the ripples. "It's more than that. It's trust. When we bond, we share life. I guard your body. You guard my spirit." He frowned. "I'm not sure I know how to do that." "You already are," she said, glancing at him. "You speak gently. You don't shout. You don't try to lead or control. When you listen, it heals something inside me." Lance looked down at the stream. "I didn't come here to bond. I was just trying to finish his scouting mission." "Then why didn't you leave when you had the chance?" He didn't have an answer for that. Later that night, as they sat near the fire pit inside the ruined stone hall, a group of elders entered. They were older than Vena, covered in bone jewelry and fur cloaks, with long white scars on their faces. They spoke slowly in their language, but Vena translated. "They say a storm is coming. One that will flood the jungle." Lance sat forward. "How bad?" "Worse than anything you've seen," she said. "Our shelters will not hold. Some of the young will not survive unless we move higher into the cliffs. Then we need to evacuate. They won't move until a bonded pair leads them." He stared at her. "You mean us?" She nodded. "Only bonded ones can speak for both strength and wisdom. That's our law." "I'm not a leader," Lance said. "You are." Now, the next morning, they stood before the tribe. Dozens of beastskin tall, furred, armored in bone and hide waited in silence. Vena spoke first, voice sharp and steady. She explained the danger, the path, and the plan. She stood tall like a warrior, tail still, arms lifted in command. Then, it was Lance's turn. He stepped forward slowly. His heart beat hard in his chest. All eyes were on him. "I'm not from here," he began. "But I've seen the signs of the storm. I know how fast water can rise. I've watched it wipe out entire bases back on Earth." He took a breath. "We move now. We carry the young. We take only what we need, and we leave no one behind." Number one spoke. Then a low growl rumbled from the crowd. A large male warrior stepped forward, taller than any Lance had seen. His body was covered in white fur and golden armor pieces. He looked at Vena, then at Lance. "I will not follow a human," he growled. "Let me test him." Vena moved fast, stepping between them. "No, he must prove his place." "I will prove it for him," the male laughed. "Then he is weak." Vena didn't flinch. "No, he is mine. And if you challenge him, you challenge me." The crowd gasped. The male growled again, but stepped back slowly. "Then if the storm takes us, it is your fault." She bared her teeth. "Then follow or drown." That night, as they marched through the jungle, Vena kept close to Lance. She carried 2 small children on her back, while Lance helped an elder climb the stone path. "You didn't have to do that," he said softly. "Stand up for me like that." "I did," she said, "because you gave me your trust. That means more to me than strength." The storm clouds rolled in behind them, but she didn't sleep that night. She stayed by his side. Awake, watching, guarding the bond with everything she had. The rain started like a whisper, then it became a roar. Thick drops slammed through the jungle canopy as the storm swept across the land. Trees bent, the river swelled. Mud flowed down the paths they had just climbed. The tribe had reached the cliffs just in time. Lance stood at the edge of the cave, soaked to the bone. His clothes clung to his skin, and his boots squelched with every step. Behind him, dozens of beastskin huddled inside the rock shelter. Some lit fires. Others wrapped children in furs. Everyone was quiet, except Vena. She stood just outside the cave entrance, her arms crossed, her tail twitching with sharp movements. Her fur cloak was wet, but she didn't seem to care. She stared into the storm as if daring it to come closer. Lance walked to her side. "We made it." She didn't speak. "Vena?" She looked at him then. Her eyes were wide, but not with fear. Something else. Something she didn't want to say. "What is it?" "There's another cave," she said quietly, "across the ridge. That's where the Fire Bear clan lives. Are they in danger?" "They don't know the storm is coming." Lance looked out into the night. "How far?" "2 hours," she said. "Through the water paths." He already knew what she was going to say. "You want to go?" "They have little ones," she said, "and elders. They will die if we do nothing." Lance nodded. "Then we go." She blinked. "You'll come with me?" "You already knew I would," he said with a tired smile. They left quietly. No one stopped them. The path down the ridge was steep and slick. Water rushed over the rocks like a river. Vena moved fast, using her claws to grip the stone. Lance followed carefully, using roots and tree branches to hold himself up. Wind howled through the trees. The ground shook with distant thunder. When they reached the lower valley, the water was already knee-deep. Vena took the lead, guiding him through thick brush and hidden trails. They didn't speak. There was no time. Then they saw it. The Fire Bear clan's cave. In the water rising fast. Vena ran ahead and howled a sharp, high cry that echoed through the cliffs. Moments later, the first faces appeared. Wide eyes, confused voices. She shouted again. This time in their language. An elder woman stepped out, followed by others. They were slow, weak, unready. Lance stepped in. "We helped them climb." Vena nodded. The next hour was chaos. Lance lifted children onto his back, held up arms for the elders, and braced others as they climbed. Vena moved like a spirit, fast and strong, grabbing those who slipped and pulling them forward. The water kept rising. By the time the last child was out of the cave, it was waist-high. Lance turned, but something slammed into him. A wave. He lost his balance, slipped, and fell backward into the water. Vena screamed. He went under. Darkness. Cold. Silence. He fought upward, arms flailing. His fingers grabbed a root, but it snapped. Then a hand caught his wrist. Clawed. Strong. She pulled hard. He came out of the water choking, coughing, his body heavy. She dragged him to a ledge, rolled him over, and pressed her forehead to his. "You're alive," she whispered. He coughed again. "That's up for debate." She held him close, tighter than ever before. Her voice trembled. "Don't ever fall again. I didn't plan it. You don't get to leave me. Not now." He looked at her, eyes burning from the water. "I wasn't trying to." She pressed her hand to his chest. "You don't understand. The bond isn't just for protection. It's for life. If you die, a part of me dies too." He reached up, touched her cheek. "I'm still here." They sat there for a long time, the storm howling behind them. Eventually, the survivors reached the upper caves. The others cheered when they saw the Fire Bear clan alive. But Vena didn't join the cheers. She didn't let go of him. Not that night. Once. The storm passed slowly. By morning, the sky was gray and quiet. The jungle below looked drowned, trees broken, trails washed away, rivers overflowing. But the caves above were full of life. Everyone had survived. The Fire Bear clan joined Vena's people in silence. No one argued. No one questioned how or why. They saw what had been done. They saw who had risked everything. And they understood. Lance sat near the fire, wrapped in dry fur. His arms were scratched, his legs bruised, but he was alive. Alive because Vena had pulled him back. She sat beside him, never more than a breath away. Her eyes hadn't stopped watching him. Even when she was still, she was guarding. He looked at her, voice soft. "You've been awake all night." "I'm not tired," she said. "You're always tired," he replied. Not when I'm near you. He reached over, took her hand slowly. You don't have to watch me every second. I do, she whispered. Because now, I don't. Just feel safer beside you. I feel like I belong there. The tribe began to move. Repairs needed to be made. Food needed to be gathered. But they moved around Lance and Vena like something sacred had happened. No more tests. No more stares. Only respect. An elder approached, one of the same who had doubted the bond in the beginning. She knelt before them and placed a carved stone between them. It showed two figures. One beast, one man, joined together in a ring of fire and water. Vena looked at the carving, then at the elder. This is not needed. It is, the elder sighed. The bond is complete. You led us. You saved more than just lives. You changed us. The elder stood and walked away, leaving them with the symbol. Lance looked at it. What now? Vena looked up at the sky. Now we rebuild. Together, he nodded slowly. And after that? She leaned into him, resting her head on his shoulder. You stay. And if I'm ordered to leave? To go back to Earth? She paused. Then I go with you. Wherever you go, I will follow. I don't sleep if you're not near. I don't want to learn how. He smiled. You're serious. I am. He held her hand tighter. Then let's build something here. Something worth staying for. Her eyes sparkled. We already have. That night, there was no fear, no storm. No war. Just quiet. Just peace. And in the silence, Vena curled beside him once again. But this time, she slept first. Because now she knew he wasn't going anywhere. And he didn't want to.